So this past weekend, the Democratic governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, made a comment that, let's be honest, was not wise. He mentioned in a talk that one of his friends, somebody from his inner circle, was struggling with their immigration status. Now, for the record, that does not mean that this person is an undocumented person. It just meant that, if they're struggling with their status, typically that means they are having issues with getting their status permanently approved. Definitely not an indication that the person is illegally in the country. But he added this, that he, had said, hey, let's have this person live in the room above our garage. And then he said, and good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her. So, of course, this was an attempt by Governor Murphy to, kind of be the tough guy here, like, hey, bring it on, I got this. Unfortunately, that caught the attention of Donald Trump's border czar, Tom Homan. And Homan responded by going on Sean Hannity's program this week and threatening to imprison the governor of New Jersey if he's hiding an undocumented immigrant, which his office did come out the next day, before Homan even went on Hannity to kind of clarify that, look, there's nobody living above the garage. This is kind of a lot of, tough talk. But anyway, it sparked this conversation that I think is actually pretty interesting. Here is what Homan told to Hannity. I think the governor's pretty foolish thing, what he said, because I've gotten a hold of it. We won't let it go. We'll look into it. And if you knowingly harbor and concealing an illegal alien, good God, this man's grammar is horrible. That's a violation of Title 8, United States Code 1324. I will seek prosecution, or the secretary will seek prosecution. So maybe he's bluffing. If he's not, we'll deal with that. And as far as doing sanctuary cities, well, get in line, because the Trump administration is going to do that already. Sanctuary cities are a sanctuary for criminals. He's one example, right? The sanctuary city of New York City, if they gave us over the killer of Laken Riley when he got arrested in New York City for endangering a child, he would have been in jail. They would never killed Laken Riley. Sanctuary cities are responsible for deaths of thousands of young children throughout my career, and we're going to show them we're going home. And look, we've got a Supreme Court. That's what President Trump wanted to do. He will end sanctuary cities. Okay, a lot of those weren't even complete thoughts or complete sentences, but it is interesting to me that, of course, one, you're threatening to prosecute anybody that doesn't play along with your deportations, even though a sanctuary city, by the way, is not a sanctuary for criminals. Sanctuary city just means that the local law enforcement officials do not aid in ICE deportations. That's it. So let's make sure that everybody fully understands that that's what this so-called sanctuary city means. It just means you guys can come in and deport these people all you want, but you cannot take city resources to do it. That's your job, not ours. Which honestly is how it should be. We should not be wasting our city resources on a federal issue. Cities have limited budgets to begin with, right? So that makes sense financially, fiscally, and just common sense in general. Local law enforcement have other things to do. ICE has kind of the one thing to do. Just throwing that out there. But the Laken Riley thing, which of course is a tragedy. Absolutely. No doubt about that. She should still be alive today. But Republicans have hyper-focused on that, right? Yes, one person was killed by an undocumented immigrant. Don't you think that if there were thousands more, as Homan said, wouldn't you be saying their names too? Right? So that doesn't make sense. The reason y'all keep mentioning the one is because you don't have a whole bag of examples to pull from. And if we're going to talk about one person dying sparking a whole change in policy, then we need to have a real serious conversation about school shootings, right? Where other kids are dying at the hands of Americans, but that's totally okay with y'all. Okay, just so we're clear on that. But anyway, Hannity followed up, and this is where it gets real interesting. There was a 2011 Government Accountability Office study that found 3 million criminal offenses had been committed by illegal immigrants. This is before Harris Biden Mayorkas threw the floodgates wide open. Who knows how many? Do we have any estimates? We know there's about 350,000 missing children that have been used by illegal immigrants. Do we have any estimates? How many Americans have been victims of violent crime, murdered, and raped? Do we have any idea the number at this point, he says. And for the record, that 3 million number was literally throughout like all of time since those statistics were tracked. And it dwarfs the amount of crime committed by natural-born U.S. citizens. But he's asking like, hey, where are the statistics? What do we know? Because I threw out a lot of numbers. Can you back me up? And Homan said, there's really no metric on that because, of course, in 1,000, we had no metric because one reason many sanctuary cities don't even track their nationality when they come into jail. That's factually inaccurate. That is not true. When you get booked into a jail, all your information goes out there. Nationality, ethnicity, everything. They'll even put religion on there if you state one. But let me read that again in case you didn't get it. Because Sean Hannity's like, so many crimes, all these crimes are doing all these things. He's like, there's really no metric on that because, of course, in 1,000, we had no metric. Like, he can't even complete his sentence because he wants to be able to validate Hannity, but he's also like, we don't actually count these things, so all these numbers we're throwing out are literally made up. Literally made up. That should have been your next sentence. We're guessing, we're estimating, or we're flat out lying to everybody to justify our horrific actions. That's what they were doing. And he admitted it. He didn't want to admit it, but he did. But I don't know which part of this is worse, right? Threatening to jail anyone that does not aid in the mass deportation of immigrants, or the fact that you're admitting that you guys are lying about how many crimes these immigrants actually commit. Because for the record, we actually do have statistics on that. We do. And it turns out that, as I mentioned, immigrants commit far fewer crimes than the population at large. Like, of all the populations in the United States, the immigrants are the least likely to break the law. So there you go. You don't need, we don't have metrics, because the metrics we do have totally disprove your point. Welcome to the Ring of Fire YouTube channel. I am Farron Cousins, the host of Ring of Fire here on YouTube. I don't know if this is your first time here, or maybe you're somebody who comes here every single day, but either way, let me tell you what's going on. Ring of Fire was actually started in the year 2004 by none other than our own America's lawyer, Mike Papantonio. And over the last 20 plus years, Ring of Fire has gone from being a 1-hour weekend radio program on Air America through a series of changes. Go Left TV, which we started back in 2007. We've been on the Young Turks network. And of course, this very YouTube channel here that started, obviously, as they all do, with no subscribers. And we've now ballooned to well over 1 million as we go on our way to that 2 million mark. So again, if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe. Take a few minutes, look around. We have content that actually goes back 20 years. So there's lots to see, there's lots to do. And trust me, with the next 4 years of Donald Trump getting back in office, we will be here every day, every single day with fresh content for you to keep you informed about what's happening and, of course, to warn you of the potential dangers that Donald Trump poses as we approach his second term.